Hi everyone, Narelle here from Simply Narelle Stitches and welcome to my Flosstube channel. This is Flosstube number 26 and I just thought I'd jump on since today is the 1st of May 2024 and I said I'd be back at the end of April with my update of what I stitched on and then get ready for what I'm planning to do in May. Yesterday I didn't get to film because I wasn't feeling that great, and I'm also doing another overhead video today instead of a face-to-face because I've reacted to something and I've got hives and I'm itchy and you don't want to see me scratching the whole video, so we're doing a top down again today. I've added several things. I've changed the lighting. I'm hoping that it's better. I've zoomed in the camera. I also have attached my microphone, so this is probably as good as it's going to get. I know you can see the reflection of the ring light on the table, but I've got a shiny white table, so I can't do anything about that. But anyway, you want to be able to see my stitching, so I thought I'd try everything I could to make it a bit brighter. Again, as always, any comments, any feedback, please comment below. Alright, so the last video, actually first of all, thank you. If you are new here and you have recently subscribed, thank you so very much. I had a massive uptake of subscribers since my last video, and that's made me very happy. So I'm glad that you enjoyed my last video and it inspired you to subscribe. Thank you so much for that. If you're new here, thank you. My videos are not regular at all. I don't promise to come weekly, fortnightly. They happen whenever they happen. Yeah, but thank you for coming along on this journey. I love cross stitching, and I have cross stitched for a long time, since I was in high school, really. So anyway, I realized in my last video I didn't show you, I talked about it, but I didn't show you one of my whips that I did, and it was Spring Quakers by Rosewood Manor. Now I am sorry, in my videos there will be lots of zippers because I tend to not think ahead and open all the bags beforehand. Alright, so this is Spring Quakers, okay, try again. This is Spring Quakers by Rosewood Manor. Beautiful. I love this. But it's all done with Baldani threads. I don't have any Baldani threads, and I'm not big on buying all the specialty flosses for different projects. So I'm substituting with my own DMC conversion. It does look different. I did try and compare the Baldani threads with the DMC chart, but I don't think I got it quite right because the pattern looks like it's very much pinkies and mauves. If you look at this, you can see very much the pinks and the mauves, that sort of colouring, and the greens. Mine's a little bit different. So I do have pinks and mauves still, but I also have some tan colours in here. So obviously when I've tried, I've tried to convert it, it hasn't worked that great. So, yeah. I'm loving it though. It's a beautiful stitch. It's very time consuming and you've got to be in the right frame of mind to stitch it, I find, because there's lots of colour changes. Here particularly, there was a lot. But I think I finished page 1, which was fantastic. I don't know how many there is. There's lots. Sorry. But yeah, so I finished page 1. I'll insert a picture of where it was before. But this one I worked on in early April because I forgot to show it in my last Flosstube. Love this. I have all of them. I have the spring, winter, summer, autumn, I think they all are all called, and I will get to them all eventually. Now that's stitched on, see if I can find it, a piece of 32 count antique white Belfast linen. So that's yeah, love that. But like I said, got to be in the mood for that one. And I just realized I didn't bring my whip go board, so I will try and grab that later. All right, next, and these are in no particular order of when I worked on them. Next is a stitch along I'm doing with the Fat Quarter Shop, and it goes until sometime later this year. Let's see if I can find the actual breakup that shows it. Here we go. So it's the Shine Bright Sampler Stitch Along. It goes until October this year. I'm not stitching them necessarily in order. I'm sort of doing where the Q-snap is, and I'll stitch that bit and then I'll move it, and so I might be like halfway through one of these months and then I'll move on to here. So I know this time through I had a little bit of May to finish, and then I should move to June. I'd already done a bit of June, but because the Q-snap sort of was here, I just went down and started working on July. So this one I think got like maybe nearly 1,000 stitches, I think. Now you can join the stitch along. It is still going. It's in the Shine Bright, no, say that again. It's in the Bonnie and Camille Quilt Bee book, and it's right at the back. There's a cross stitch. I won't try to show the pattern. I'll just, there we go. So it's here in the quilt book, and you'll notice the colours are a little bit different. So Fat Quarter Shop did a stitch along, I believe, using these colours, and then they changed it, brought it out again, and this time they're calling it the Shine Bright Stitch Along. That was the Shine On. So I really like these pastel colours. Some of them are a little bit bright, like the orange and stuff, I just not really keen on. But this new colourway I am really liking. And, sorry, I'm probably shaking the table. I'm using the called for Ori floss, Orifil floss. I don't know how you say it. Oh dear. Yeah, so the Orifil floss, made in Italy apparently. This floss is really nice, beautiful to work with. It is stranded, so you pull it apart like your normal DMC. And I'm stitching this on a 25 count even weave 2/2, and I'm loving the colours. I'll put a picture in of where it was beforehand. This is where it is now. That is so beautiful. I'm loving these colours. They go together so nicely. Some areas, I have to go back and check the pattern, but some areas I think are white and I haven't stitched them. So I know down in the house down here, I filled in the windows last night in white because I know they needed to be filled in, and I'm pretty sure some of these need to be filled in as well. So I need to go back and check to see if this, for example, or these sections here are meant to be filled in. I assume they are because they're a cross-stitch representation of quilt squares. So on your quilt squares, you're not going to have an empty spot with nothing in it. So I assume I have to go back and fill them in white. I think I'll do that last, once I've got everything else done. But what I worked on this time, I worked on it, I think, the last 2 or 3 nights. I did these down here. I can't, are they flying geese? I don't know my quilt terms. I do want to get into quilting more deeply than I have been in the past. But I think these are flying geese. And then I finished the house. The house was like here or something, so I finished off the doorway, did this, and then did these ones, and that was in the last. I finished this too. It was sort of like up to there, I think, and that was the previous finish line was up there. So yeah, really like this. This is a great one to pull out for challenges, so because it's quick stitching. At the moment I'm trying to get all my shopping done in the Aussie road trip in the Whip Warriors group, and I've got a lot of shopping that I need to get stitched before the ship back to the mainland finishes sailing on May 11th, I believe. So this is why I pulled this one out, so I could get a lot of stitching done quickly to get some of that shopping done. Sorry about the zip. Alright, next. So that wasn't a Whip Go call or anything. I finished my Whip Go call a week or more, a couple of weeks ago. So I'm just filling in with whatever I want to stitch on. So this is another one that I thought I'd better pull out because I haven't done much on it for a long time. And it's the Sal from Heaven and Earth Designs. And I'm doing the Merry Mushroom Village Picnic, it's called. That's a picture. Beautiful big red mushroom. I love how the light plays on this and you get that real 3D effect. It's just stunning. So with this sale, it is closed now, and I have talked about this before. You did need to join up late last year, but it is closed. And if you finish the chart by the end of the sale, you get all of the 10 that were offered. Not the full chart, just the excerpts. So these are all little snippets of much larger charts in the cell. Still big enough, really. I mean, here we go. That's where I am now. And I'll put in a picture before of where I was before. But I think I put in nearly 2,700 stitches on this. And you will notice I have grid lines. When in my last video, and I spoke about my full coverages, and I was having trouble with one that I had started, and I had miscounted somewhere, and then I'd use that miscounted stitch to count off, so then there was further things below it that were just out, and I was frustrated, and I didn't want to have to buy the pre-gridded fabric. I already have lots of the 25 count fabric. I bought a bolt a couple of years ago, and I thought, well, what can I do? And I don't like the idea of putting a thread through. To me, that's wasting time. I could be stitching. So I've got a water soluble marker, so I thought I would use that. So I thought what I'm going to do going forward is just grid the section that I'm working on, and then you know, as I work further, grid it again. And I'm not gridding past the outer edge, so that means I don't have to wash the piece to get rid of the grid lines, because they will be covered because it's full coverage. There is one I need to be mindful of that though on, and I think it's the bird song one, which is not a full coverage. It has no background, so I need to be really careful with that I don't grid when I get to those sections, that it's not the background, that I don't grid those pages, or I attempt to wash it or soak it to get rid of the grid lines. But yeah, so that is the Heaven and Earth sale. Now, I think we have the second part released, and pretty sure that I'm really behind because the first part, I believe, is 3 pages. So this is page 2, that's page 1, finishes there. Page 2, and then you've got a page 3. I'm not sure whether it goes beside or down, can't remember now. And the second part has been released, which is the next 3 pages or something. So I am behind. But it's not a race, and I'm probably not going to get it done by the end of the sale, which means I won't get all the other charts. But realistically, I have enough full coverage anyway that I probably don't need to worry about getting them. And some of them I would never stitch anyway. So I thought, well, what's the point of rushing this and trying to get it done when I'm probably not going to stitch the other ones anyway. And because like on one of my Whipco boards, it has like nearly 12 full coverage starts for this year. So I think I've got more than enough to keep me going. Okay, so next is my poppies chart. Now this I brought out on Anzac Day. So 25th of April is Anzac Day here in Australia, and that is a day we remember our fallen servicemen and our returned servicemen. Now I've got a strong family history of military service in my family, and I just love Anzac Day, and I'm really pleased to see it's gaining popularity. I thought it was going to dwindle out when a lot of the, you know, last surviving returned servicemen of World War II passed away. I thought, well, it's going to dwindle. People aren't going to be bothered commemorating it as much, but from what I saw this year, the crowds are still huge, locking up to the marches and the parades and stuff. So I'm really pleased to see that. So I have this poppies piece. It's called Pretty Poppies, and it's from Cross Stitching, or the World of Cross Stitching magazine. And I don't have a date, a year, a month. Sorry about that. If I can find it anywhere, I will pop it in the description box below. But it's just really pretty simple 3 poppies. And this is where I am. And I got a lot done on this one. Again, I'll pop a picture in of where it was. So I was struggling last time I worked on this one. And I was around here and I just I don't know why I was struggling. So I put it away, but this time around I pulled it out and I really, really loved stitching on it. It just, I don't know, it just flowed. So I got a lot done. I think it was nearly 1,000 stitches I got done on this as well. I worked on this on Anzac Day and possibly the day after. I can't remember, but I know I pulled it out and worked on it on Anzac Day. So what I'd like to do now is give you a little history, or my family history, of our military service. So my grandfather, my father's father, was in the Navy, in the Australian Navy, and he was lost on HMAS Sydney 2 when it was sunk fighting the Cormorant. I'll put a few photos in here of him. And HMAS Sydney 2 was in a gun battle with the German boat called the Cormorant, and the Sydney sank off the West Australian coast, losing all hands. So there was 945 sailors lost when that ship sunk, and my grandfather was one of them. My dad was only really small, 8, 9, something like that. And I'll pop a picture in here too of him with his father and his sister, and this photo of him holding the 2 children when the ship had just come back from a tour somewhere actually ended up on the front page of one of our major newspapers at the time. And I think it was the last time the Sydney was in harbour before it left for that final journey where it never came home. And my whole life my father had wondered what happened really to the Sydney, because it was a lot of controversy about it. There was theories saying that it was torpedoed by the Japanese, and no one knew where the ship was. No one knew where the final resting place of the ship was, and it basically ate at him his whole life. And eventually, I think it was around 2000 or so, or the late 90s, I can't remember exactly, it was finally found. There was a explorer who had the capability to penetrate to the floor of the ocean, and they put in place this massive grid over a large area of the sea where they thought it was, and eventually they found it. But my dad was tortured, I guess, his whole life growing up not knowing what happened to his father. So my dad joined the Navy when he was 16. When his father passed away, or the Sydney sank, his mother felt that she needed to remarry quite quickly because she had 2 young children and she needed someone to support them. So she married a man called Walter Thompson, and he was in the army, and he was actually a Rat of Tobruk. So if you know the history of World War II, you'll know the Rat of Tobruk fought in Egypt, I think it was. And he had some issues coming back. It'd probably be diagnosed as PTSD these days, but back then it was just he had issues from coming back from war, and it wasn't a very pleasant childhood for my father because his stepfather had issues. So basically my dad joined the Navy as soon as he could to get away. So I think he was 17 when he joined the Navy. So I'll pop in photos of my grandfather from the one who was Rat of Tobruk, it's my step-grandfather. And then photos of my dad. My dad served in Korea, and he actually also, there was a collision between the Voyager, HMAS Voyager, and another ship, but I can't remember the name of it right now. My dad was on the other ship, and he was a signalman, so he was up on the bridge. And when that collision happened, my dad was tasked with, I can't remember if he was on the Voyager or the other one. Anyway, he was tasked with going and saving crew or pulling the dead bodies out of the water, and he had to pull out the dead body of his captain into the dinghy or whatever they were on. So I think that was quite traumatic for him as well, because being a signalman, you're up on the bridge all the time, you're probably closer to the officers and the captain than regular crew would be. So I think that had an impact on him as well. And so Dad was diagnosed with PTSD as well, quite late actually. I would have been probably, I think I was married by the time he was diagnosed with that. So yeah, but that's our family history, and that is the why I love Anzac Day and why it's important in my family, because we have quite a few to thank for their service. And yeah, so that's your little bit of history lesson for today. Oh, I closed this bag. That wasn't very smart, was it? So that was Poppy's, and of course has to go on its own Poppy's bag. And I do have another project when this one is finished. I do have another Anzac Day piece that was given to me. It was gifted to me, and that will be what I stitch on next after that one's finished. Alright, so next up, I'm pretty sure this was no, it wasn't a whip go, because I had finished all my whip go calls. This one, I decided was calling to me, was Turkish Delight by Rosewood Manor. Let me pull that out. This is just a working copy, so I don't want to scrunch up the actual books. So I'll pull this out so there's no glare. So Turkish Delight by Rosewood Manor. Love this. Not as a fan of the fabric it's on, because I think it detracts from the beautiful design. But I still wanted to keep in that sort of theme of fabric. So I chose something similar, or would give me the same effect, I think. Whoops, there's a bit of pattern there. We'll cover that up. Okay, so I'm stitching this on a piece of 28 count linen by Paddock Lane Designs, and it's from the September 23 Fabric of the Month Club. This is called Bushfire. Let me put this away so I don't lose it. And again, pop a picture up of where it was. I got a lot done on this one. Really happy with it. Whoops. Oh no. My fan blew my paper away. I'm sorry. Alright. There we go. Is that all in shot? I'm hoping it is. So this fabric is like a pinky, smoky colour. Obviously that's why it's called Bushfire. But it is really pretty. It's washing out a bit on the camera. But I got a lot done. I had finished, not quite finished the letters. I think I'd only done L actually. And I finished all these. Finished this. This wasn't finished all the way across. I'd already done all the top row, and then I did all this. So that was probably 4 or so nights of stitching. I don't remember how many I did, but I'm pretty sure it was probably around 1,000 again. So really loved this. And again, this is called for, what are the called for threads? They are Weeks Dye Works, I think. Yeah, they're all Weeks Dye Works. So again, I'm using a DMC conversion. I just looked up the Weeks Dye Works colours, and then sort of matched a DMC colour that I thought would go with it. So it's not going to be, you can see in the picture, it's really a bluish tone, bit of aqua, and I think that might be like a limey green colour, but I've picked yellow for that. So mine's going to be slightly more colourful, I think, which I don't mind, because no one's going to have the picture of what it was charted against what I'm stitching, what I stitched. So it's okay, it works. So that was Turkish Delight. And that one also you have to be in the mood for some fiddly stitching, because there is lots of colour changes. I guess like with any sort of Quaker or anything like that, there's going to be lots of colour changes. So that was Turkish Delight. And I think I have one more left to show you. Sorry, just want to get all this away, packed away, put to bed. Alright, and the last one I have is Secret Garden. So this is the one, did I show you this one before? I don't know, this might be a new, what is that? What is that? Oh, this is a new start. I think this is my last Whip Go Call new start. I don't know if I've shown it to you. Wait a minute, it's like a bed sheet. This one is huge. I'll insert a picture of what it will be when it's finished. And it's like 500 something wide. This is a big one. And I've started from, no, it goes that way. Wait a minute. I always put my needle minder in the top left corner if I don't know which way it goes. Right, so you'll see with this one. This is the one, I think, where I counted wrong. Did I, or was it another one? I can't remember. Anyway. And yes, it might have been this one. And I was going to start parking. And then went, no, the hanging threads annoy me. So I've worked all the hanging threads in for the first column. And what I'm going to do is finish this. This is the first column. Going to finish the first column. And then I'm going to put in my grid lines for every other column and row on this section, because a lot of this down here is wrong. So this is the one where I've stitched wrong somewhere, and then I've used that to count off, and then therefore this is all wrong. So what I do when I've done that, when I get something wrong, is I will stitch over it. If I know absolutely 110% that stitch is in the wrong spot and there should be something else there, I will stitch over it. It's way too hard and not worth my effort to unpick on 25 count 1/1. I don't have the time or the patience for that. So I will stitch over the top, and that's what I'm going to do with this one, because I know part of this is wrong. But that is Secret Garden, and I do love this one. Really gorgeous. I love, 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 love it. So I'm hoping to get some more time on this. I don't know when, because like I've got my Whip Go to work through for the rest of this year, and I've got different challenges and things I want to do. So I was going to talk about, I would leave haul to last. I was going to talk about plans. So I'm doing Whip Go this year, and I've shared before that I find challenges challenging because I find them restricting. And I started too many at once and then thought, well, I can't keep up with all this. It's just too hard. I'm getting stressed. It's meant to be fun. And even though I have stuck with Whip Go so far, and we're about to head into May, I'm not sure how much longer I will continue with it, because I do find that challenging as well, or restrictive as well, because there are other challenges I want to do. Like, I feel guilty that I'm not doing anything in the Full Coverage Fanatics group. I'm not doing anything in the Semi-Sane group. I'm not doing anything in the magazine challenge group. And there's lots of other challenge groups I'm in that I see all the challenges and they look like fun. It's like, but I can't do them all. And I can't fit them in necessarily with Whip Go either. So I'm thinking next year I won't do Whip Go. And I will just every month pick a challenge group and do their challenges for the month. And then next month pick another group and do their challenges, and try and rotate it around like that, because I do want to do it all, but I can't do it all. I can't fit it all in. So I think that's what I'm going to do, and I'm trying really, really hard to not start that now, because I want to do a full year of Whip Go, because I've never actually finished a full year of Whip Go yet. So I want to try and finish Whip Go this year, and then next year just pick and choose the challenges I want to do. Saying that, coming up to May, I probably won't be doing my Whip Go for May. I don't know if I can fit it in, because I'm doing the Madness Mania in May, where I'm starting a new project every day. So, and I've committed to doing 200 stitches on each project that I start. I don't know if that's going to let me do Whip Go as well. because also in WhipGo, let me see if I can grab the board really quickly. I do have it here. In a minute. Sorry, you might hear me dump some things on the floor. Okay, so for WhipGo for May, the middle spot was called. Now, for a lot of people, the middle spot will be spare. It's an empty spot where you don't put anything there. Some of us who are, I don't know, not quite right in the head, glutton for punishment, something like that, we put something in the middle spot. So when she calls the middle spot, in case people have it as a spare, she calls a third number. So for May, I have 6 WhipGo projects to do, plus 31 new starts. I don't think that's going to work somehow. And also, 2 of these are new starts. So I really want to start one of these though, Dreaming of Daisies by Rosewood Manor, but I really don't know if they're gonna make it. We will see. I don't need any sleep, do I? Can I do it? Can I do 37 projects in the month? I don't know. We'll see. We will see. So that's where we are at the moment. Oh, my May WhipGo calls, in case I don't get to them, I'll pop the photos in now, is Country Threads, Arnott's by Country Threads, Pandemic by Long Dog Samplers. Now this one is a restart. If you've been here before, you would have possibly seen my Pandemic. I was doing it on 25 count 2/2. Now that thing was a bed sheet. And I was going, yeah, I can do it. It's okay. I'll make it into a quilt. But wrangling that amount of fabric is just stupid. So I've cut the section off that I've done. And I'm probably going to make it into a table runner, because it is just the first column from top to bottom. So I think I'm going to make that into a bed sheet. And the rest of that I've actually used, I think, for another full coverage already. Like started another full coverage on it, or several on it. So that's going to be a restart. And Simplicity by Dimensions. Then the next is the Sweet Land of Liberty by Cherry Hill Stitchery. And Santa Coming to Town by Stitchrovia. Oh, and Rosewood Manor. Oh, Feathers, sorry, by Rosewood Manor. Now my new starts for WhipGo is Kringles by Little House Needleworks. I have wanted to start this forever, so I'm gonna have to make that happen, I think. Dreaming of Daisies by Rosewood Manor, which another one I absolutely love. And then Birdhouse Gardens by Heaven and Earth Designs, another full coverage, which I love. So I don't know, I might have to make them happen. Can I do 37 stitches? Maybe. Alright, so now let's get on to haul. Last week I showed my new purchases by Mirabilia and Bella Filipina, but I forgot to mention where I got those from. I got those from Exquisite Cross Stitch. Now, this is an Australian cross stitch store based on the Sunshine Coast, so she's probably an hour and a half away from where I live, which is quite handy. I don't know if she has a physical store or if it's just online, but fantastic service. And obviously she's bought bags off me because she has on her little note, P.S. Love your project bags. How sweet is that? But what I also wanted to show was this. This is really cool. So on the back of her thank you card, where she pops in a note with every order, I assume, she has this card that can be used in projects. And I love it. You put your project name, designer, fabric threads, date started, date finished, and stitcher. That is sorry. That is so cool. So cool. And if I had my act together, I could create something like this and put one in with each project. And I think once before I have printed out something. I was inspired by Hand Needle Maniac, I think. Handwork Maniac. Can't remember her name, her channel name. But she has these little things she puts in every project, and it's got a calendar on it, and it's obviously got all those details on the project on it, but also a calendar, and you colour in the days you work on the project. I print out a heap of them with great intentions to put them in every project. Haven't done it yet, but maybe I should. The date started, I wouldn't have a clue. Alright, so I got some haul off a D-Stash site in Australia. And I know I have said I'm not buying anything in this year. Only buying what I need, fabric threads, things like that. Well, I saw this and I have wanted this for a long, long time. I think it's called Nantucket Rose. Let me open it and tell you. And it was really cheap. And I went, oh, look, just get it because I've loved it. Yes, Nantucket Rose by Lavender and Lace. Is it Lavender and Lace? I think so. Look at that. You've probably all seen it. I will insert a bigger picture on the screen. Because these photos that come with these charts are absolutely tiny. But I've seen people stitching on it and it's stunning, stunning, stunning. And I love flowers. So these roses just got me. And I went, that is stunning. I need to stitch this. Now, it's not a small one by any means. Where's the size? Oh, 167 by 228. Not too bad. But it is stunning. So I couldn't pass that up. And of course, you know, no chart can come alone. So that seller was also selling this one, Keeper of the Pins by Brenda Gervais. And this is really pretty. You've probably all seen this as well. But I bought recently a tiered tray thing from IKEA. So I'm looking out for little smalls and things I can do to fill that up. And hopefully eventually I'll have enough seasonal ones or themed ones where every so often I can swap them out. But I couldn't resist that. That was going quite cheap as well. So I got that. And then you may have seen before I had 2 stockings for my pets I was going to do. Are they close? If they're close, no, I'll insert a picture. I unwittingly bought the patterns off Etsy because they were cute. One was a dog, one was a cat. Didn't realise until I started stitching it and I looked closely at the pattern and went, you know what? These look like they come out of a magazine. And yes, they came out of a magazine. Apparently it was it Just Cross Stitching 2000 and something, 2005? December 2005, something like that. And I can't find that magazine anywhere. And I have a subscription, but it's not in the archive, so I don't know how to get that magazine. But because they are illegal copies that I was sold on Etsy, I have decided I'm not going to stitch them. I'm going to buy some stockings to do for my animals. I couldn't find any ones that I liked with a dog or a cat on them anywhere. So when I saw these on a D-Stash site, I went, yes, okay, I'll take these. They don't have animals on them. Oh, they do, but they don't have dogs and cats on them. But at least there'll be stockings for them. So that's why I bought these. That's my justification for buying these. So this is the first one, and I'm hoping I can show it without the glare. It's by Luca S, and it's called, do these have names? No. But it's Santa with a little, I think that's a squirrel. And he's on top of a chimney, and that's his sack and a lantern. So that is a full kit. Comes with everything, hasn't been started. So I got that one. And the same seller was selling this one as well. And I think, are they the same size? They were originally $56, this one was. So I would never pay that. I know, got to support our designers and stuff, but I also have a tight budget. Oh, I'm so sorry. Oh, gosh. Yeah, but these were quite cheap on the D-Stash group, so I got this one as well. A little dares with a church and a Christmas tree. Bears. No, they're not bears, they're deers. Did I say bears? Oi, 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 must need another coffee. And some rabbits and squirrels, and I love squirrels. So I got this one as well, and again, this is a full kit. This is from Luca S as well. Hasn't been started, so looking forward to doing that. And of course, I'm an Alice in Wonderland freak. I love it. Hadn't seen this one before. Tiny Modernist Alice in Wonderland tree. I love it. I'm currently doing the Christmas tree. So when I saw this, I went, oh yes, please. Didn't even hesitate. Didn't even hesitate. Love this. So that came home as well there you go. That is my haul. Not very often I have haul, but I can justify those two anyway. And the others were, oh, I just got to have them. But you know, these are the first things I've bought this year, and we are in May. So I haven't done too bad at all. I'm very proud of my limited spending. I think I have enough whips. Is that all I wanted to say? I think so. Thank you so much for watching. I was going to talk about May. Because I'm doing a new start every day, I don't know whether I should come on every day and show you what I did the night before in my new start, or whether I should just come back weekly. Let me know what you would prefer. I know when I did all the new starts in December, I came on daily and showed you what I did the previous night. I don't know whether I should do that or just do a weekly wrap up of these are the ones that I've started this week, and this is the progress I got on them. Yeah, let me know what I should do. Thank you so much for watching. I will see you when I see you next. Have a fantastic week, day, month, whatever, and happy stitching, and I'll see you next time. Thanks for watching. Bye bye.